So happy to be with you again on Nighttime at Noon from Studio 31 inside City National Arena. Thanks for being with us. Darren Millard along with Daren Eliot, the Olympian, with me. And there are some great numbers to discuss around the first place Vegas Golden Knights. We will also take you up to Calgary and connect with the Vegas Golden Knights as they participate in practice today and get ready for the Calgary Flames tomorrow. Looking forward to that challenge as the Golden Knights attempt to equal the best start in franchise history, Darren.
Yeah, that's good for scorekeeping, but of relevance is it's going to be as stiff a test as you'll probably have early on. Coach Bruce Cassidy wanted to say it might be a good thing to look at what your divisional opponents are looking like. Well, going to get a first-hand look at the team that won the division a year ago.
3 out of the first 4 on the road.
Yep.
You have that challenge. You also have the 3 Pacific Division rivals coming at you with that game against the Calgary Flames tomorrow. That's all big picture. But from what you've seen, what have you really liked?
Lots to like. Always like my favorite, Jonathan Marchessault, scoring the way he did. 2-goal game in Seattle, 3 on the season. The goaltending, we have to start there. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't start there. 3 outstanding performances, 2 by Logan Thompson and 1 by Aiden Hill. I mean, was the biggest quote-unquote question mark coming into the season. The first week of the season, couldn't got any better.
Has it been as close to a perfect start?
Yeah, I guess so. I think so. Lots of times, if you ask the coaches, they'll say no. But I think, again, I've liked the coaching staff's approach. I've liked Bruce Cassidy, how he's explained, what's gone well in games and what else has to happen and the whys of it. But I think he's been very realistic that first week of the season, the best news is you've won. That is the best news. And then everything else you can kind of filter through and make modifications and improvements as need be.
Yeah, there's been some teachable moments. The third period against the Seattle Kraken, not putting the puck in the net against the Chicago Blackhawks. Stalock was good, but you'd like to finish a little bit more in the first period that night. And then in that back-and-forth game against Los Angeles. But really, as a whole, new coach taking over, new system coming in, there's been a lot to really grab onto.
3-0. It's just like that's the reality. Everybody is looking. I think again, and go back to Bruce in our post-game show, and he said it well when he goes, look, we've got the wins. You want to win. Everybody's looking for those early season victories. If they don't come, you could be 0-3 and have played better. That no one's going to buy that, though. You've got 3-0, lots to build on, and I think that that's a good assessment of realities. Like, you have to win in the standings, but you have to make sure that you're getting to your game and certain things are being embedded that are going to carry you long term.
Marchessault with a couple of goals, so he has 3 on the year. Who needs training camp, right? he clicked it, made it really snap into place in that final game in Boise, and it's just been lights out.
Well, he had a veteran training camp, kind of like just building towards when it matters, and that's a lot of guys can do that. Some guys can't. Some guys just have to go and play their game.
I've told you the Patrick Sharp story. I watched him in a preseason game, and he was talking about Patrick Kane and said in 12 years that he's known Patrick Kane, he's never seen him play a good preseason game.
Yeah, some guys, it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Then I'm just going to make sure I'm just out here skating, essentially. Just staying out of the way, being aware, all those kinds of things, but not plugged in.
The way that you're able to dial that in is amazing as a professional athlete. Jack Eichel has looked really good so far, and that line has had moments of dominance in games.
Yeah, I disagree.
Moments of dominance,
They've had
and then
moments.
other moments.
Yeah, I would say that given what we thought and what we saw in the preseason to what we're seeing in the first 3 games, the puck does follow Jack Eichel around, certainly. And Riley Smith has scored. I don't know that the quote-unquote chemistry we were all touting coming out of training camp has been in evidence to the degree you'd hope for that trio so far.
You want to get into lines and what we've seen so far? Because there's some intriguing pairings going on here, but
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy is not afraid to shuffle his people around.
No, and again, it's many coaches do that. They go with a centerman and a winger, and they rotate the other winger. But they go with pairs. They keep tandems together up front, and you'll see the rotation mostly on the wings. That's how he has approached it. Hasn't had to tinker too much.
Well, we saw a flip from 2 to 3
Yeah.
in that Howden and Marchessault. But on that top line, when you talk about moments of dominance and other moments, are you surprised that there's Riley Smith and Jack Eichel that have that really strong connection? Because the overwhelming opinion was it was Kessel and Eichel.
Well, to me, from a thinking the game from an offensive standpoint, yes, that's what everybody would assume, and that's what we saw glimpses of in the preseason. But no, I'm not surprised that it's Riley Smith, having talked to him throughout training camp, because he's thinking about adjusting his game based on how Jack Eichel plays. And that is the only way to get chemistry with Jack Eichel, because he has the puck so much. It's incumbent upon you to find out, okay, what's he doing in this situation? Where should I go? Do I support him or do I get open? Do I get close to the net? Do I go wide? Riley Smith, very intelligent player. He's going through that process right now, and he's done it very well.
Mark Stone, Chandler Stevenson are together. Right. Brett Howden's looked great with that threesome.
Yeah, Howden really played well. I thought that was his best game in Seattle. And again, that's a tandem, right? We know that Stevenson and Stone have been paired together almost exclusively since they've come to Vegas, and they read off each other so well.
We'll go through the forwards here with Jonathan Marchessault and William Karlsson back together. It's almost inevitable that they'll end up together.
You can't have a sprinkle of misfits throughout the lineup, but two of them have to stick together.
But Paul Cotter now with that line, and there's a player who went from outside
inside the
top
big
12,
inside the big locker room, though.
Inside the big locker room, so he's moving closer.
Yeah.
Starts on the fourth line and then moves up for the third line and scores a big goal.
Yeah, and it looks good with them, like the misfit 2.0, right? It's like, okay, you've moved up to that line, and part of it is the dynamics on the fourth line, which we'll get to, is that Cotter fits there, right? He seems to fit with 71 and 81.
Why? What makes that work?
He's not afraid to be offensive minded in his own right, while still giving you a little bit of edge. He's bigger than Marchessault, who will stick his nose in, we know, in battle. But Cotter is a good forechecking presence. He doesn't mind trading paint with guys in the corner to come up with loose pucks. I think he's a really good element for that line. I think that has a chance to be a really good line for this team.
You've been around this game a lot longer than me because you've played it at a high level as well. So I'll give you that experience. You've seen guys play in a top six role that can't play down in the lineup. You've seen guys have success down in the lineup who can't transition to the top. Paul Cotter seems to be able to do both.
Yeah,
am I right on that?
I think so. And let's not get too carried away.
3 games, yeah.
But I don't know that he has to play higher than where he is right now. And we can call them 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, the balance that Bruce Cassidy seeks with his lineup, there's not that much disparity between when things are going well, your top line forward plays 18 minutes and your bottom line plays 12 minutes, or people on it are in that range. That's as good as it gets in terms of balance in the National Hockey League. I don't think that Cotter will have to play in the top 6. But trading between the two lines all season long, he'll take that.
Fourth line is right at home.
Well, yeah, again, you've got that, Nicholas Waugh in the middle, then you got Colasar and Carrier. I mean, we've talked about take whichever one as a tandem, right? Colasar, Waugh, and Carrier. They seem to go together as a trio. I don't know.
Or is it Carrier and
Colasar? Right, and then you put
the tandem, and then which is different than anybody else.
You might be right, but again, and that's a good point. I think though, when I think of Paul Cotter, and that second line and the third, is that the third line? If that's your third, quote unquote, third line, when we go back to Marchessault, and you've got Carlson in the middle and Cotter for the instance right now, Amadio as the guy that's on the outside looking in right now. That's a top 9. That's a top 9 that can score, and you need them to score. And in this setup, Coach Bruce Cassidy says he wants all 4 lines scoring, and Colas scored the last game. So that means you've got the balance when the bottom guys are pushing for those extra minutes.
Well, 3 games played, 8 different skaters have scored,
Right.
7 of them forwards.
Yeah,
That does tell you balance, and the most is 3 with Marchessault.
it's the balance, and we haven't even factored in the D yet. Shea Theodore chipped in with 1, but it's always been a team thus far in its existence. It has a lot of production from the back end, so you have that to add to the mix eventually. But to see your forward lines gel and get to that balance equation pretty rapidly, that's encouraging for sure.
That's a great challenge, and maybe we'll do that on the VGK Insider Show at 4 o'clock, is rate the lines. Who are your 1, 2, 3, 4?
Right.
Because this organization has always had top 2 and a great 4th. Maybe the one missing part at times has been the 3rd line.
Right.
Now that looks like it's really solved.
Well, and we'll find out. Tuesday's a really good example of it because you need to be able to play all 4 lines because you don't control the matchups because you don't get the last change when you're on the road against any line. You have to be comfortable having their top line against your 4th line, or at least the 3rd line in terms of the matchup rotation. If you can do that as a coach, you're going to be a successful team. And that's what that allows. When you go 9 deep that can score and are good defensively as well, okay, now we've got something. And in this case, I think with the size on the 4th line, you could get away with a defensive zone face-off. Nick, no problem. You're not sweating it like, oh my gosh, let's just get the puck and grenade it out. You're like, hey, our guys can hang. They can hang with somebody's top line.
And the pivotal roles that line 3 and 4 for our conversation.
Right.
Line 3 has scored 5 goals with Marchessault's 3,
Right.
Carlson 1, and
Cotter.
then Paul Cotter, big goal in a 1-0 game,
Yep.
if you consider the only goal in the game being a big goal. And then you slot in Keegan Colasar with the great start the other night, getting them on the board. That is really influential.
And again, it allows the coach to balance the minutes the way he likes to do it. And when you have that kind of ability to spread them, everybody stays in the game. And then you're able to get the matchups, quote unquote. They're not as big a deal. You can't dictate them, but you're not afraid of them.
Vegas is off to a 3-0 start. We'll get further into it. Talk about the blue line, and the goaltending has been a huge story, not just in Vegas, but around the National Hockey League, as people are turning going, whoa, that's different from what we expected. We've been following it a lot more detailed throughout training camp and the preseason, and we'll talk about Logan Thompson's exploits and that of Aiden Hill as we continue. It's nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
To the sky, feet to the ground, not give a what a hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let this make of you roll? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I will not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no helping hand. And my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now. They cannot hold me down. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to
Golden Knight fans, get ready to get our team back on the ice and be part of it. To become a full season ticket member for the 2022-23 season and never miss a game. Full season member will have perks such as discounts on merchandise, parking, and more. To get information about a full season membership, contact the Vegas Golden Knights sales team at 702-645-4359 or email them at tickets@vegasgoldenknights.com. Looking at the live stream right now. People have already gathered at T-Mobile Arena. Darren Millard along with Darren Eliot. Yeah, 3-0 start for the Vegas Golden Knights. Awesome kickoff to the season. What a performance on opening night with the last-second goal in the last minute for Mark Stone, and that spilled over, and the confidence is going. It's funny, 2 one-goal games, and that and you're on the right side of it, changes everything, and it gives them some confidence with that convincing win over Seattle.
They played well against Seattle, and there are teams that, as a player, you just struggle against. Marty Jones, he might just wave the white flag next time the coach says, "Hey, I need you to go against the Vegas Golden Knights." I saw it somewhere, I didn't verify, but he's been pulled an awful lot. One place said 9 times.
9 times against Vegas?
Yes, in 24 starts.
Wow, that's not even just on the bad side of things,
right?
That's
pulled. That's hooked.
Yanked.
That's
gonzo.
So, I bring that up because I didn't think of that because he played well the game before. Natural for the coach to say, hey, go in there again, because Grubauer had a tough season and didn't play well, gave a game away they should have won in Anaheim 4-2 with 10 minutes to go. Your number 1 goaltender, 5-4 overtime, not good. So he doesn't get the start. But if you have that information, maybe I go, you know what? Jonesy, do you really want in there? Or do you go, you know what? Grubauer, get in there, home opener. They went the other way, and they took advantage. And I really liked it from our standpoint, from the Golden Knights standpoint. They weren't very good in the details around the net and scoring, as we in the 1-0 win over the Blackhawks. They were. In Seattle, they were excellent in getting to the net and paying it off.
Some great goals, some greasy goals, some goals
power
from
play
the point.
goals.
Power play goals. So the numbers are, and this is not to take Martin Jones off the hook.
No.
It's more to give Vegas a whole bunch more credit.
Exactly.
They're averaging 39.3 shots a game through 3 games.
Yeah, I mean
that's got the 51.
Yep.
But still.
But we've always been, since I've been here anyway, a volume shooting team. It's like where the shot's coming from. To me, the low to high D, putting it there in grease, that's got to be part of your identity. It looks to me in the early going, they're willing to try to score in more creative ways. Not too fancy, but on
less
the rush.
low to high though.
Yeah. I sense that so far, and it looks like that because the D scoring hasn't really kicked in yet. It was almost automatic. Take it deep. Muck for it below the goal line, kick it to the D, shot on goal. Maybe we get a rebound. Maybe it goes in. And they seem more creative than that this year.
The D has taken on a change from a week ago. Nicholas Hague is in the lineup. He's played a couple of games. So he's joined the full. 7 defensemen have played at the high end. Alex Pietrangelo at 23 minutes a night, and then Ben Hutton at 11:02. But you have 3 players, really 4, because Alec Martinez 1955. They're going with that top 4. Really not extraordinarily high, but a balanced top 4, if you can say it that.
Yeah, a balanced top 4, and the third pair gets third pair minutes.
15 minutes, yeah.
And that's Whitecloud and Hague missed all of training camp. He hasn't factored into any of the scoring yet in his couple of games, which isn't surprising when you miss all of training camp. We know that he can add to the offense once he gets going, has the big ripper from the blue line, and can gallop up the ice. And Whitecloud last year, a little bit of a glimpse that he has some offense too when things get going. So that's something to look forward to in the offensive mix as the season unfolds.
On that subject of being able to rip the puck from the point, and then tomorrow night, Mark Stone against Michael Stone. Michael Stone was on PTO with the Calgary Flames, his brother. He lit it up in training camp. He's got a big shot. He's already scored this season. So it's a good offensive matchup between the Stones. And I never thought I'd ever say that.
No, he was a healthy scratch for almost a full season, hung in there, and has truly hung in and made a career for himself. And he played well last year, actually, and had to go through the PTO route, typically because of numbers, contract numbers, those kinds of things, cap considerations. Once the season unfolds, you get pegged, and he gets tapped with a new contract and continues to play well.
Early season numbers that stand out. Shea Theodore, +5 already.
Yeah, just so good.
Right place.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I haven't looked at any of the advanced stats in terms of, shot share and how much time he's spending in the offensive zone versus defensive zone. I'm sure it's in his favor. When he's on the ice, we're in good hands and probably not spending much time in our own zone.
I like the idea that they're going with in the power play that basically whoever's fresher will start that power play between Pietrangelo and Theodore.
That's the blending of the top 40.
Yeah.
It's like interchangeable.
I don't think I remember seeing that a lot in the last couple of years.
No, we haven't. And one of the things you have to remember, though, there's no scoring option from the top. Don't tell those guys that. Pietrangelo, he will sift it through, and so will Shea Theodore. They don't blast it very often.
Petro's just a pure find a way. It's magical how he gets the puck.
Right. So it's a different. It's a different dynamic. They're very good point guards, if you will, to use basketball, where they distribute. They're not really scoring guards per se on the power play. So to me, lots of hockey smarts at the top of the formation and get it to the guy that matters, and then move the puck quicker. That's in evidence so far, and move your feet more with purpose on the power play.
When I say I haven't seen that the last couple of years, I'm not just talking Vegas. I'm talking league-wide. You don't see a lot of that flip back and forth depending on game scenario or shift length prior to.
Well, every team, though, has gone to 4 forwards and one defenseman. Almost exclusively on both power play units.
Do you like 5 forwards?
Depends who the 5 forwards. I remember Pittsburgh had the 5 forwards with Straka and Yager. They had 5 early 2000s, and it was impressive. Not really that recommended.
You would never go that road with Vegas because
we wouldn't need it.
Blue liners are so good.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and they're so smart and intelligent. They won't put you in peril. Whereas a forward handling the puck out there, it's a little bit different when you're flat-footed handling it, 60 feet from the net when you're a forward. To me, having that kind of intelligence on the blue line, no matter who it is, Pietrangelo or Theodore, is a bonus.
Goaltending. People are taking notice. I don't know what they expected, but in talking to our various colleagues around the National Hockey League, 3-0 is one thing by the Golden Knights. 3-0 with 2 1-goal wins, a shutout, and 2 goals against in that Seattle game has been impressive. And they're starting to look and wondering about, can Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill really do it? Whereas there were some question marks prior to. What have you loved about Thompson and Hill?
They both battle. But I don't want to say, it doesn't sound like they're diving all over. Aiden Hill, each game we've seen him play in its entirety, has gotten more composed with his footwork.
What do you mean by that?
Well, so it's are your feet set and you're receiving the puck, or are you still kind of moving as the puck's being delivered? Big difference, because rebound control becomes harder as you're moving. If you're set, and in our system that we're playing with the D closer to the net, there's going to be more traffic. Better to have set feet and make sure your depth, don't get trapped too close to the goal line. Make sure you're out, at least toes, top of crease, with the size of these two guys. And then from there, control it. And they've controlled the rebounds really, really well. And that just, really helps in terms of keeping it clean in your own zone.
Everybody tries to reduce the pressure at the time, and then if it is legitimate, you will admit it later on. How much pressure was on Hill and Thompson last week?
Lots. I mean, pressure, from a mental standpoint, you're the only one that can put pressure on you. It's because all the X doesn't matter what the expectations or anything like that. It's how you deal with that, or do you even accept that? Or you just worry about your game. That's what you need to get to with sports psychology. They talk
seems
about
overly simplistic.
well, that's sports psychology. Is like, how do you handle the clutter? Because if you let it enter into your mindset, then you're putting pressure on yourself, which never really works, to be quite honest with you. I learned that's why I'm such a good putter, because I don't put pressure on myself. But that's the same kind of mindset you want as a goaltender. I'm just worried about my game. Now, everything else, you hear it, you can't escape it, but it can't factor into your preparation or how you end up getting yourself ready for games. The other side of that is that pressure, us talking, everybody talking, chatter, social media, it's not going away. And as an athlete, it's every single game is you have to prove yourself again anyway. So to me, it doesn't change. But tomorrow night, home game, hometown kid comes back. Logan Thompson, we think, is going to play. So you go back to that. It's like, is that pressure? Or is that just, wow, this is just part of it, cool part of the moment? I would think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, 2 of the 3 games, they scored 4.5 goals on average. 4 goals in one, 5 in another. You should win those games.
Correct.
And they did win those games.
Right.
The other one was 1-0 where you had to be perfect, and they did.
Yeah, Logan Thompson was really, really good in that. But again, going back to Bruce Cassidy, he's very even in his assessment of his teams and realistic. He talked about it. Well, yeah, I mean, Logan did what he had to do because we only scored 1, and we scored 1, and then we defended well as a team. But yes, Logan did his. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, well, so effusive that you're, raising expectations in the marketplace, in the locker room maybe. And again, that's the other side of it. Guys like goalies that battle. So from that standpoint, these 2 guys, the way they play the game, plugged in, don't give up on pucks, don't shake their head and don't stare down their defenseman when one bounces in off their ankle. All those little cues, not part of it with these 2 guys.
Yeah.
They're just trying to prove themselves.
Bruce Cassidy says they haven't let in a goal where you would say that
Right.
one shouldn't go in.
Right.
That's been the great part about it. Dollar Loan Center in Henderson has a packed schedule, a little something for everyone. We've got the Henderson Silver Knights. They're at it. They're going great guns with a split on the weekend and a bunch of goals scored. And they have 3 more games throughout this month. And every Monday, come and visit. Today's some Monday, the Henderson Farmers Market at the Tilt Yard. Then ending off the month with the G League Ignite game on Sunday, October 30th at thedollarloancenter.com. We are going to go to Calgary. Team is just wrapping up practice in anticipation of tomorrow night's game against the Flames. That's when we continue on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
What they hate to do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let this make you grow? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I would not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went the distance, no help in here. Now my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now thinking I hope you did. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses.
Well, if you got the Be Real app, I know what you were doing during the commercial break. I'm going to explain that to Darren Eliot a little bit. So he's like, it's time to be real. We all pull out our phones. Elliott's just sitting there. I hang out with kids, the young people in the department. It helps me stay young. Let's just say that. Henderson Silver Knights fans, you can't get enough hockey. We got a lot going on in the American Hockey League, playing at the Dollar Loan Center. A single game group and mini suite tickets for home games during the 2022-23 season on sale now. Contact the Henderson Silver Knights ticketing team, 702-645-4259, or visit hendersonsilverknights.com to learn more. You were over there on the weekend. You did the doubleheader.
Yeah. Scored a lot of goals. Pavel Dorofeev scored twice the first 4.5 minutes. They were off and running. Goaltending there was good. Patera lost 2-1, and Michael Hutchison gave up 2, battled his butt off because of puck. It wasn't a clean game. As a former netminder, you know what I'm talking about. Puck bouncing everywhere, nothing clean, nothing direct, but he, veteran guy that he is, just battled his way through it, and they got the victory.
They have a great mix of young, explosive talent and some professional veterans.
Absolutely.
That's really going to come together for Manny Vivro. So the Vegas Golden Knights up in Calgary practice today. They will face the Calgary Flames tomorrow on Fox Sports Las Vegas. A pregame show at 5 o'clock on the radio side tomorrow because of the time zone shuffle. So we will look forward to that. I would call it the first significant test of the season. LA made the playoffs last year. They're a contender again. You've got Chicago who's rebuilding. Seattle's trying to be better. The Calgary Flames are a team where, like Vegas, there's expectations there.
There really is. They won the division last year. It looked like they were going to lose all their star players. Lost 2 of them, gained 2. So great job by the GM, Brad Treliving. They might even be stronger because they added an NHL piece in that mix, that trade for Tkachuk to Florida. Mackenzie Weegar on defense is a nice add for them. They're legit. They're big. They're heavy. We know what kind of game they're going to play under Daryl Sutter. And they're not an easy team to play against, so I'm really looking forward to the game itself. I'm sure everybody else, coaching-wise, they're looking at it more from a standpoint of, let's see where we are, like the coaches, management. It is a test.
Calgary and Vegas, 2 of 9 teams that got through the opening week undefeated. We have the Golden Knights, Dallas, Boston, Detroit, Philadelphia, and Florida all changed coaches. How about that? 6 of the 9 that got through opening week. Perfect. Small sample size.
No.
But when you bring in the new voice,
right,
it's had an impact here.
And it typically does. Again, it's anecdotal, right? It's urban legend, but you always seem to get a bump whenever you make a coaching change. I was thinking about that on the way home the other night. Are we seeing a bump, or are we seeing better play from our Vegas Golden Knights? Not being a Debbie Downer, but is it just that? All these teams like John Tortorella in Philly. We think it's horrible. Is it a bump, or are they actually going to be better? We know that we have the capabilities and the talent here to legitimately be better, but is it? What did we witness last week? Good hockey? Is it something that's going to stick, or was it just the proverbial change coaches, get that initial bump?
Something that you like, that you hope will continue, is something like the power play at 25%, or the penalty kill is 85.7.
You'll take both of those.
Those numbers at the end of the year. Thank you.
That's what you're shooting for. Those are actually the metrics you're kind of looking for. If you dial up 25%, you're 1 for 4 on average across the season, and 85% is about that. That's entering that elite status, the 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs that are the best penalty killers in the league every single season.
Now I'm talking your language, right? Intricate stats as a Cornell guy.
That's not very intricate. Power play percentage, 1 out of 4.
Compared to who's sitting on the other side of your table, it is with me.
But those, if like you said, if you had those percentages after 82, you could sign up for that right now and take it. you'd absolutely do it.
I'll give you a number
Okay.
that has probably helped Vegas more than people would realize is 55% in the face-off dot, bordering on 56%.
And it was a detail that was not very good in the preseason, and it was addressed. It was something they've been working on. Bruce Cassidy, for obvious reason, I'd never heard a coach attach it specifically to the power play like Cassidy did after the Seattle game. It makes complete sense. Everyone, here's the generic one you always hear. Start with the puck more, you have the puck more, you'll score more. Well, the difference is winning percentage face-offs on the power play, 99% of them are offensive zone face-offs. So when you really correlate face-off winning percentage on the power play, and you get to pick which side, your strong side on your power play. So you better be dominant. You should be dominant. If you are, and you focus on that all season long, you will absolutely score more goals because you'll have the puck more in the offensive zone, not just have the puck more.
If you win a face-off on the power play to start a man advantage, what does that translate into more time on the power play? Give it to me in minutes.
Right.
Looking
So,
at a 2-minute man advantage.
Yeah, so if you lose the draw and they send it down the ice, well, it's 10 seconds to go back and get it. You got to come through the neutral zone. The drop pass or the pass to the winger, your zone entry. So you're looking by the time you get set up, if you get set up cleanly, you're looking at about a 20-second gap that you just lost on the power play. So send it down, you lose another draw or you lose possession again or you don't get it clean zone entry, suddenly you're looking to the second unit pretty quickly with not much happening just because you didn't have a clean face-off win.
And the coach is like saying, okay, two entrances.
Good try,
turn
guys.
Around. Like he's whistling to get you up. But 56% on the face-off total. That's all across the board. Is great.
Good. Yeah, I mean, the top one or two guys in the league approach 60% typically. Team averages are if you're above 55%, you're doing well. But again, it's pretty situational. How are you in the defensive zone? How many do you win? How many on the power play? People in the neutral zone, nobody seems to really care as much about possession. Off the face-off in the neutral zone because you can establish your forecheck lots of times too. So
Carolina is off to a great start. They've made some really good progress in the contender status.
I think so because their coach, Rod Brindamore, knows what it takes to win. They're not happy with the way they played last year in the playoffs. I don't think they felt they were hard enough to play against. You get to Florida maybe entering that same mindset, the Panthers, with the moves they made, that yes, we're talented. Yes, we have great regular seasons. Get to the playoffs, suddenly it's a little harder to find room on the ice. You have to fight for your space a little bit more. You have to work a little harder to create your own shot. So you have to have a little more gumption. And I think Carolina falls into that category.
League-wise, individually, Sidney Crosby averaging 3 points per game through 2. He can score 3 points per game through 3.
They put the band back together, as they said, right?
They did. That's incredible what he's done. Connor McDavid had a hat-trick on opening night. These are your top 10 scorers. I'm not going to go through everybody. I'm going to mention some names, though. Okay. Sid, Panarin, Rantanen, McDavid, Draisaitl, Stamkos, Jason Robertson. I mentioned 7 of the 10. You're not talking about a guy having a good night and he's there. Like, those are all massive names early on in the season, ready to go.
Yeah, and Dallas getting Robertson signed just in the nick of time. They need him, certainly. And he, again, didn't miss training camp, didn't seem to hinder him at all. But no, those are top names, and they've been top names for a long time. You put Stamkos and Crosby in there. Those are elite players right there.
I think Stamkos could win the Rocket Richard. You don't think so? I'm not just saying that to him, if you're wondering. I'm not putting words in his mouth. He said it to me before the show. All right?
I would be surprised. It would be a great surprise. He's been a tremendous player for a long time. He tends to have, injuries a little bit, gets nicked up. He's getting a little bit older. I wouldn't expect him to play 82 games. That's the only real reason. He's got the ripper. He's always been able to score goals. He had a fantastic season last year. It could happen, but I don't think so.
I think you'll see Jack Eichel, Jonathan Marchessault battling to get inside that top 10 and make an appearance really quickly as well. The spectacular Hotel California saw their digital dashboard the other day. On the broadcast. It was really cool. Hotel California in Santa Barbara. Exciting addition to the Foley Entertainment Group, located right by the ocean. Experience oceanside views in one of 121 luxury guest rooms and suites. Taste the region's finest wine at Foley Food and Wine Society's tasting room and treat yourself to unparalleled massages at Marjorelle. All at the heart of the American Riviera. Designed for domestic and international guests alike, Hotel California is the perfect destination for any traveler seeking one-of-a-kind luxury experiences. Visit hotelcalifornia.com to book your next stay. For those watching on the stream, you are looking at one cool facility.
You been there yet?
Nope.
If you keep mentioning it like that, they're going to probably give you a comp card.
That's pretty good. Look at that.
I know. That's unbelievable.
You got the, what do we call that, river, stream, canal going through. I got to be right one of those, right? And it goes through Hotel California in Santa Barbara, California. It's awesome. We'll take a break, come back, bring you up to date with what's happening in practice in Calgary. We'll go north on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
To the sky, feet to the ground. I give a what a hater do. If I do not try, then I will have failed, and I can't afford not to make a move. I was told I was not good enough. I was told I was not capable. I had to sit and just ask myself, what you gonna let this make of you roll? Everything that I've been working for is right in front of me. I would not ever let go. Using negativity as energy for me as I travel alone on this road. They didn't see the vision, they didn't understand. I went to distance, no helping hand. And my gift got me sitting on top, and I'm about to show up now. They cannot hold me there. When you a winner, you learn from your losses. We came from the bottom and now we the bosses. The future is yours, so what will you choose? If you give it your all, you got nothing to lose. When you a winner, you learn from your losses.
I got one for you. We're at City National Arena, Mackenzie River Grill, just outside us. Awesome place to go. Craggy Range Sports Bar and Grill over at in Henderson
Dollar
at the
Loan
Dollar
Center,
Loan
yeah.
Center. Perfect place to enjoy a pregame or postgame meal. Watch the Knights on one of their big screen TVs. They have the AHL.com, the TV package for the Henderson Silver Knights. But they also have this beer chiller if you sit at the bar. It's one of the best inventions ever, where it's like you put your glass on top of ice. It's perfectly smooth. Boom, it's cold. I
Good
want
for a
one
rink. Good for a rink.
It's
smooth
perfect
ice.
for a rink. I keep mentioning it because I'm hoping that somehow I can get it at home.
Well,
and just sit at the Island Bar.
These reads, it should be 20 seconds, go on for a minute for a reason.
All right, we've got some teams. I went through the perfect clubs. Vegas is one of them. These are the teams that did not win in week number 1. Vancouver, Ottawa, Minnesota, Jersey, Arizona, Columbus, and San Jose. I'm going to give you Ottawa, surprise, after all the hype coming into the campaign, not winning one of their first 2. Minnesota, with the expectations on that club,
Gave up a bunch of goals.
ton. Columbus grabbed Johnny Gaudreau via free agency, and Patrick Laine is hurt. Those are the 3 that I would think are really disappointed
New Jersey?
coming
Did you
out of the
mention
gate. I did not mention New Jersey because I don't know what New Jersey is.
Well, it doesn't matter I don't either, really.
Mm-hmm.
But they think they're an up-and-coming team. In terms of expectations, they're thinking, hey, we have all these young stars. They're all healthy. Let's go. And they can't get a save. They look like the same old thing.
And Vancouver had a 3-0 lead and a 2-0 lead
Well, that's
and
not-
lost both of them.
Well, again, the way Bruce Boudreau's teams play, they will score, and they will give up. And if I don't mean give up like effort-wise, they will give up chances. But that's okay if that Thatcher Demko, their goaltender, is ready for it. And if he's not, then it becomes there's fractures. In the way
I can
Bruce
tell you
coaches.
this. His numbers are incredibly good for being 0-2.
Yes.
Based on the quality of shots
Correct.
that he's faced.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but you're giving up way too much.
Yes.
Way too much.
Yeah. Who are you not surprised? Arizona, San Jose?
Not surprised. I was a little surprised. Vancouver, I thought they'd be good, and Minnesota. You thought that, a bad first game would not lead to a subpar second game, and it did. But again, that's 1 week in. Ottawa, I don't know what they are. I know they've made all the moves. I'm familiar with all the young players. I just haven't seen them assembled. When was the last time you watched an Ottawa Senators game?
Well, they've only played a couple.
I mean, I'm even going back.
That's my way of trying to dodge the question. It's
Like-
been a while.
It's been a while since I've dialed in to see what the Senators are all about, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, they also got injury to its goaltender, Cam Talbot. Toronto has an injury to its goaltender, Matt
Shocker.
Murray. He's out for 4 weeks. Minnesota has had struggles in goal. It makes what's happened in
Campbell.
Vegas in the opening week look that much more impressive.
yeah, it does, because you can find guys that are capable puck stoppers. Now, can you find elite? It seems less and less. Who's the best? I mean, it's Vasilevsky. It's the
It's a Russian. Vasilevsky or Shesterkin.
yeah, and then Sorokin's not bad either.
Yeah, Sorokin, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a tier of 5 or 6, and then the next tier, there's not much difference between that tier and the next tier if you're going 10 or 10, 11, 11.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, our guys, they play like that. This is going to be a fun season, not just for them individually, but for everybody collectively.
How close is tomorrow night, Vegas in Calgary, to being an early season statement game or measuring stick game?
Yeah, I think it's more of, from the process standpoint, it's a measuring, like, where are we now? That team won the division.
You sound like a coach right now. You do. You sound exactly like you're coaching the team.
I'm not, but they would be saying the same stuff, right? It's like, we just want to know where we are in our process of teaching. I'll try to use the word process a little bit more, just because coaches do that
You haven't
all the
used
time.
process yet, which
No.
is the Canadian
That's right.
pronunciation.
That's right. I go with the process. Stick to the process. to me, it's just, where are we, especially with the new coaching staff? And it's like that's why it's going to be a really fun game. One of the reasons why it's going to be a fun game tomorrow.
I think when you look at it and you're trying to really see the ceiling here, you can be optimistic that there's another couple of levels from what we've seen.
For sure.
Even though they're 3-0.
Absolutely. The D scoring, kind of getting your line solidified. You're close. You're close. I'm most curious to see the Eichel line tomorrow, because you're the dominant line, going to get the dominant line attention from the defense, and it's a big, burly team that plays with some scratch. So let's see what we do against a team like that.
I'll give you a name that's really impressed me through the first 3 games that I haven't heard anybody talk about, including myself.
Okay.
But I want to throw his name out there, and that's Chandler Stevenson.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off a career year. He gets overshadowed by the Eichels and the Kessels and the Smiths and the Stones going, Juan and Colasar doing their thing. But Chandler's been flying.
Yeah, since he got here. I mean, he's been a revelation, and it's hard to overlook him because he's such an important part of the puzzle up front. But yeah, we tend to talk about others more, and that's more just he's a quiet
He draws
guy.
a penalty shot the other night, has a couple of 2-on-1s,
Always,
breakaway. Yeah.
always in the mix all the way around every game.
Do you count a penalty shot and the breakaway as 2 different scoring chances?
Not really.
Okay, I ask you that because the other night
They had 3 breakaways.
Vegas had 3 breakaways and a penalty shot. And-
On one of those breakaways led to the penalty shot.
Right.
Right.
And I went to break saying they've had 4 breakaways.
Right.
And I wasn't sure whether or not I was right.
Well, one
And you
negated-
kind of looked at me
Well,
like
one
you
is
normally
negated.
do. Like,
Well, I don't really agree with that assessment, but
So is it 4 breakaways or is it just 3 breakaways? And then I have to add in the penalty shot.
it's 3 breakaways. One led to a penalty shot.
I knew it. I knew I was wrong. The way you looked at me, you tried to be nice about it, and you were
I wasn't.
polite. But when I push you a little bit,
It's like-
I was in the end. I was wrong. Vegas against Calgary. Calgary's had a difficult start from an opponent standpoint. They've come through it really well, beating Colorado and Edmonton. Now they get Vegas, so this is a measuring stick for Daryl Sutter's team, along with what we've seen.
He'll downplay it.
Of course he
there's
will.
another game on the schedule.
I love him. I love him so much. And then you've got what a contradiction between the 2 coaches, between Bruce and Daryl. But
But
then
what they give, absolutely.
you've got 4-0 start on the line for Vegas. That would tie the franchise's best. Bruce Cassidy was 4-0 in his first 4 games with the Boston Bruins.
You've been doing your homework. Impressive.
I had a lot of time in my hand yesterday on Sunday. There was
there's
no hockey.
No hockey. Lots of football.
Bruce Cassidy said he watched football yesterday because there's no hockey going on. They're still just coming off the ice. Guys stayed on actually for a couple of extra minutes during that. So we'll bring you what Bruce had to say on the VGK Insider Show at 4 o'clock when we talk hockey again. So I'll be doing Fox
Love
Sports
it.
Las Vegas.
That's
Isn't
how I
that
know
great?
it's the best.
What are you doing at 4:30?
4:30. Yeah, I'll be.
That's usually about the time when I ask you to come on, and I send you a text.
Yeah, hey, you want
Say
to come on?
You
I
want to come on?
I might still be here then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'll swing by and see if you want to chat hockey.
Yeah. Come on in. Studio 31, wide open to chat hockey. It's Fox Sports Las Vegas, nighttime at noon.
Head to the sky, feet to the ground. I give a what the haters do.